Chris, many thanks for talking to me today. Muhammad Ali was the greatest. That's how we all know him. But why, in your opinion, did he live up to that huge title?
It may be hard for some to hear. It shouldn't be. But a man who would use his platform to actually highlight the plight of the disenfranchised, the downtrodden, the poor, a man like this is exceptional. And that light, any man like that is an example for us all. This is the reason why he, stands side by side when you talk of Mandela, when you talk of Gandhi, when you talk of the Martin Luther Kings. He's really something. And my entire career, I would say you can find it based on his example. He taught by example.
There's already been plenty of talk and analysis of just what made him so great. And certain people are saying, as a boxer, as a technically gifted boxer, well, he probably wasn't even in the top 10. He wasn't even in the top 10 of biggest hitters of all time. But the combination of his looks, of his prose and his boxing made him the greatest. And he transcended the sport to be something much bigger.
Transcended because of his personality, his boxing ability. Whoever told you that he wasn't that much, or he wasn't, in the top 10, I would have to disagree. This was a master tactician. This was a man who could bamboozle you in terms of his foot movement for a heavyweight, remember. He was moving like a middleweight. Heavyweights can't do that today. So don't underestimate the man's ability to fight and box. He was brilliant. But as I say, what stands out and what makes him, the iconic figure that he is the fact that he stood up against governments. He stood up for human rights. He stood up for his religion. He was his own man. It was about integrity for him, and that is why we are so inspired by his light.
When you think about meeting the man, as you did in 1999, I think, what was that like?
Well, there's a picture of me, and I'm beaming, yes. And keep in mind, this was a shell, because the spirit was contained with this particular disease. But I was beaming, because you have to understand, in 1974, when I was probably 8, 9 years old, I'm hearing all of these men speaking with such energy about this man, and him shuffling, and him being this beacon to the community at large. Everyone was engaged, and it sparked my imagination. And when I track back throughout the years, I always had that fear, but looking at him, he kind of showed you how to, dare. And as you know, he who dares wins. And it works, it's true, because I did. An ordinary guy like me, I did become a world champion because of that spark. He sparked my imagination. I can too win respect.
He had so many titles to his name, 3 times world heavyweight champion, but there was one more that you wanted him to have, which was an honorary knighthood. Why do you think that didn't happen during his lifetime?
Well, for whatever reason it didn't happen, let's deal with the now. And why not have, in the great parks around the world, a monument, huge monuments of him all around the world, because the light he was for the people and what he did for the people, it's the best way we can pay tribute to him.
Chris Eubank, many thanks indeed.
Pleasure.